Hey there, we're Talia and Ophira Edut, identical twins and astrologers. Welcome to AstroTwins Radio, where we bring the stars down to Earth. Hey, it is the week of June 10th to 16th. Talia here flying solo with your weekly forecast. Let's see what the stars have to say. Well, it's a quarter moon week. We just had last week's new moon in Gemini. It's been a parade of planets, a Gemini palooza. There's so much happening in Gemini. And we get a little balance from all that curious, frenetic energy with a quarter moon, waxing quarter moon in Virgo on Friday. So the energy of this week, at least according to the moon phase, is about taking all that novelty, all those new discoveries, new ideas, and putting them into some sort of Virgoan order. How can we organize all those details, systematize them? Your spreadsheet program may get a run for its money. Try not to send people documents with 7-point type, though. I've had that happen to me before, and oh my God, it's just wrong to do that to people, but you may have a lot to fit into that plan. Quarter moon phases are about balance, so you don't have to go all the way to the extreme side of Virgo, which is perfectionistic, obsessive, or so austere that there's no joy in it. Virgo has a lot of great qualities. Every sign has qualities that we could do without and others that, we should embrace. There's the flaw-finding aspect of Virgo is going to be on parade this week, though, because sometimes you do have to go tear apart the plan that you have, or maybe actually see, did I have a plan in the first place? And I suggest a proactive approach, because if you don't, the planets might actually serve you a slice of humble pie, because this is a week of squares. Lots of planetary squares going on. What does that mean? That means planets are forming right angles, 90 degrees in the zodiac, in the sky, which means they're in the same modality. They're traveling through either cardinal signs, fixed signs, or mutable signs, but they're forming this T-bone kind of, it's like crash. A square can make you feel like you're running up against an annoying barrier. And what are you going to do? Just step on the accelerator and blast right through it? That could cause a lot of damage. So this is a week to really actually take the medicine, if you will. If something breaks down or it's just not delivering results, don't let your ego take a hold. Just try to look for solutions. That is going to be easier said than done on Tuesday, June 11th, because we have the annual Mars-Pluto square. Mars and Pluto, just kind of fiery, feisty, combative Mars, and Pluto being this shadowy energy. When they start to have their irreconcilable differences, things can get kind of ugly. So Mars is in Taurus as of last week, and that can increase stubbornness, while Pluto in Aquarius can kind of bring problems, is with people sort of clustering into groups and throwing their weight around, like stacking up their allies. Well, we think that this is wrong. Be careful of the universal we. That can be a very dangerous place to land if you're using it to kind of manipulate people and get your way. So you may find other people doing that too. And if the royal we comes into a conversation and you're like, I'm just not buying it, go ahead and do your independent research. There may not be this coup forming, but if you feel like you have a case you have to make, however, it may behoove you to make sure you have people in your corner stacked up already who are going to have your back and stand by you. You don't want to go into the fray alone at the same time. Sometimes what can happen, Mars and Taurus can leave us stuck in this hopelessly old school thinking. There are, of course, certain tenets that just never change. There are certain traditional things that have stuck around for eras and eons for a reason. But Pluto in Aquarius is all about innovation. Ever since Pluto first moved into Aquarius for a little peak last year from March to June of 2023, there's been like AI pandemonium. AI is incredible and amazing, and we have no idea where it will go, but it is replacing a lot. We still live in an economy where we need to have our monthly nut so we can pay our bills in most places, and there is reason to be nervous about AI, but there are also reasons to explore how it might make your life, your industry, and your job more efficient, and explore ways that mastering it and learning how to use it and be an engineer or a pioneer with it could, in fact, make you more marketable than you already are. Okay, and that's not the only square happening on Tuesday, because we're also going to have Mercury, which is now in Gemini, investigating every detail, curious, buzzing around, socializing with everyone in sight, hitting a square with restraining Saturn in Pisces. And that could also cause one to get overwhelmed suddenly. Your excitement, you could swing between excitement and overwhelm a lot, which again brings in the helpful energy of the waxing quarter moon in Virgo. So if something suddenly, if you suddenly get scope creep or you realize you've bitten off more than you can chew, you're going to want to break it down into phases, take it one step at a time. That's going to be an important thing to remember. Even when you're out socializing, like conversations could start to snowball in all sorts of directions. And if you don't like the way they're going, you can also stop them. I think of Saturn and Pisces as being very compassionate, very tapped into the undercurrent of what's not being said. If you're smiling and being inauthentic, stop yourself and say, hey, I'm sensing that there's something more going on here. Or I'm sensing that we actually need to talk about things from a different angle, or maybe we're avoiding looking at XYZ. But XYZ is kind of what Mercury in Gemini is making us do, that extra little something. And here comes Saturn going, no. Saturn in Pisces, like, let's focus on feelings too. Like, let's think about the emotion behind the logic too, and the impact that will have on people's feelings. Another square, yes, there is one more on Sunday that's also going to tap into that same compassion. That is the Venus-Neptune square. So this happens once a year, actually twice a year, when Venus is in either Gemini or Sagittarius, and it squares Pisces, which is where Neptune has been since 2011, and it's actually moving into Aries for a little bit next year, and then on for 15 years after that. So that's going to be, next year is crazy. I'm working on the 2025 annual guide, and every single one of the outer planets will be shifting into a different sign. I mean, Pluto in Aquarius is going to be solidly there after this November 19th, but it's still a new energy. So they're all going to be darting forward a sign. And the outer planets shape the world at large, generations, our global outlook, the collective. So if you think things were changing before, next year, I mean, we have Saturn and Neptune going into Aries, Uranus going into Gemini, Jupiter in Gemini and Cancer, Pluto in Aquarius. Obviously, the picture of that's all still coming together as we work on the 2025 guide, which will be out later in the year, as it always is, in October, November. But just kind of looking ahead, it's just interesting. We've had these Venus-Neptune squares every summer with Venus in Gemini and Neptune in Pisces. And then that's going to start shifting to Venus in Cancer and Neptune in Aries in the years ahead. But we're still in this mutable energy, so your feelings could really fluctuate this weekend. You may find yourself running hot and cold. The exact square is on Sunday, the 16th, but just be careful not to get yourself tied up in emotional knots. Uncertainty could really cause attachment issues to flare. And also, there's sort of this tendency to gossip or feel like you may have to sit down for a Sex and the City style brunch and share all the information about your relationship, but you never know who's listening. Neptune is in Pisces. The walls have ears, and Venus and Gemini can make us a little loose-lipped, so careful who you open up with. It's probably better to either talk to a therapist, talk privately with a trusted confidant, or, hey, novel concept, talk directly to the person who is creating the drama in your life. I will say though, unless you have a clear idea, a clear end game in mind with what you want to address in a conversation, Venus-Neptune square can send it all over the map. So I would say this is a better week for processing than confronting, for collecting and gathering your thoughts. It's going to be a fun week for us. I am going to be with Ophi in New York, and we are recording the audiobook of The Astrology Advantage, our book that comes out this August 27th, where we've basically turned the birth chart into your favorite personality tests, like the Enneagram or the Myers-Briggs. But we have also something super fun to share, and we're going to be announcing that this week. So I'll already give you a little preview. We haven't put up the official sign-up page yet, but it's coming. So check our Instagram and check our, and if you're on our list, definitely, and if you're not on our list, definitely sign up. Because we're going to be doing a 30-day Summer of Success challenge. Summer of Success. Yes, there are 2 Capricorn full moons this summer, one on June 21st and another one on July 21st. Now, you might think, why are we focusing on success? Hustle culture's dead and the world is burning. Well, we define success as living in alignment with your truth. For some people, that truth is doing amazing things with your career and having an impact-driven life. Other people define success as a balance of time with home and family, relationship, and satisfying work. Success is, it's very individual, but what a Capricorn full moon will do, it'll get you focused in on what is the end game here? Where am I going? Where do I see myself? We have 2 free events, one with the full moon on June 21st and one with the full moon on July 21st. That there is a Capricorn rising, Jupiter North Node, stellium there. I couldn't be more excited for this. Now, Capricorn gets a bad rap as being all work and no play, and that's also untrue. Capricorn is the Benjamin Button of the zodiac. It's a sign that ages in reverse. It comes in with a seriousness, but it understands that when you set up a structure, you have all the room to retire early and have fun. In the meanwhile, this week, don't let the squares trip you up. Expect that you might run into some obstacles, but, take that solution-oriented approach. What you may need to do is actually simplify, break things down into phases, break them down into steps, and watch that tendency to want to gossip or complain or pin the blame on someone else. Yeah, sure, you may be justified in that, but where's that really going to get you? Bring the focus back to what you can control, which are your own actions, your own choices, because within that, these squares really kind of push us to pivot in ways that are, they might, especially with Saturn in the picture and Mars and Pluto, it's like, if hot heads should not prevail, watch your temper, and I don't know, read all you can about Virgo. Figure out where Virgo lands in your chart. We all have all 12 zodiac signs in our charts. Your birth chart is a map of the sky. You may not have any planets or placements in Virgo, but Virgo, the Virgo part of the zodiac wheel is occupying a house of your chart. So you can tap into Virgo energy, get yourself calm, cool, collected, pragmatic, creative. Some of the most creative problem solvers I know and love, including my own coach, Lois, are Virgos, and I depend on the Virgos out there to help me find a fun and inspiring way to get out of a jam. So may this week turn breakdowns into breakthroughs for you, and come back, follow us on Instagram at AstroTwins so you don't miss the 30-day Summer of Success challenge. So excited to give you that little preview already and share that adventure with you. See you next week. As always, thanks for listening. You can discover more of your star power at astrocell.com, and be sure to follow us on social at AstroTwins. Join us next time for more cosmic fun.